any country basically organizes two things. You can organize consumption, and then you can organize production. Modern way of saying organizing consumption is services. Modern way of saying organizing production is manufacturing. But there is more to production than simply manufacturing. For example, agriculture also is about production. Now, pretty much every government since 1990 has done a decent job on consumption, on organizing consumption. Which are the companies that organize consumption? Uber organizes consumption. Reliance organizes consumption. Adani organizes consumption. But we have, as a country, failed in organizing production. We have excellent companies that try to organize production. They are the Mahindras of this world. They are the Bajajs of this world. Part of Tata's organizes production, but the record of the country in organizing production is dismal. And essentially what we have done is we have handed over the organization of production to the Chinese. So this mobile phone, even though we are saying we make this mobile phone in India, that is not a fact. This phone is not made in India. This phone is assembled in India. All the components of this phone are made in China. The network that has produced this phone is made in China, is owned by China. So every time we use a phone, every time we wear a Chinese shirt, a Bangladeshi shirt, every time we wear a pair of Chinese sneakers, we are paying a tax to China. Because some Chinese youngster is earning a salary to make or to produce that product. So the first message I would give in a presidential address would be that India has to focus completely on production. Because if we do not focus on production and we continue to focus only on consumption, we will find that we will run huge deficits, we will increase inequality, and eventually we will run into a serious problem. Social problem because of unemployment, which we are already facing. If you look at the numbers of the amount of people who are in jail, if you look at the numbers that are spent on internal security, if you look at the numbers spent on our police forces, they're all spiraling. They're all rising. And everybody understands that social tension is on the rise in India. So now the next question comes, okay, so where is this employment going to come from? What is India going to produce? And for that, I'd like to tell all the youngsters of this country that there is a revolution taking place, an exciting revolution. The world is transforming completely. And the change that is taking place, at the heart of the change that is taking place, we are moving from the world of the internal combustion engine to the world of the electric motor. We are moving from petrol to batteries. We are moving wind, solar, potentially nuclear energy. So our entire way of moving is changing. And this is going to change every single thing. It is going to change warfare. It is going to change medical treatment. It is going to change education. It is going to change how we eat. It is going to change every single thing. Now, the last time there was a revolution, called the computer revolution, the government of India had a clear focus. We looked at that revolution. It was the Congress government. We looked at the revolution and we decided clearly that we are going to focus on the development of software. And we rode the wave of that revolution. And today you can see the result. I remember people laughing. I remember people laughing when the computer was being talked about. You mentioned Mr. Vajpayee. I respect Mr. Vajpayee, but Mr. Vajpayee gave a speech saying that computers are of no consequence to India. So, what is important when there is a revolution? What is important is that you understand what are the drivers of that revolution, and where exactly do you need to focus, where exactly do you need to sit in that revolution. I said that this revolution is going to change everything, and I want the youngsters in this country to think about it. There is a war going on in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is actually a war between the internal combustion engine and the motor, the electric motor. The electric motor is inside the drone, the engine is inside the tank. And if you look at what is going on in Ukraine, the tanks are dying by the thousands. And small little drones with electric motors, small batteries, not much bigger than that, are destroying the entire tank artillery infrastructure of both Ukraine and Russia. So the drone is the electric motor. The drone is the battery. The drone also needs to see. So the drone is a camera. In the same way, electric cars. The electric car is a motor. The electric car is batteries. The electric car is cameras. Robots are exactly the same thing. Robots are electric motors, multiple electric motors with cameras, with batteries. And this is what the revolution is going to look like. So there are basically 4 technologies that are driving this entire change in mobility. Electric motors, batteries, optics, and then on top of that, you can apply AI. Now I want to tell the youngsters of this country, people talk about AI. But it's important to understand that AI on its own is absolutely meaningless. Because AI operates on top of data. Without data, AI means nothing. And if we look at data today, there is one thing which is very clear. Every single piece of data that comes out of the production system in the world, the data that was used to make this phone, the data that is used to make electric cars, the data that is used to make basically all electronics on the planet today is owned by China. And the consumption data is owned by the United States. In China, the consumption data is owned by China, but in India, companies like Google, companies like Facebook, companies like Instagram, X, they own our consumption data. So if India wants to talk about AI, it has to first answer the question, what data is going to power that AI? And the answer today is India does not have that data. Neither does India have production data, neither does India have consumption data. We have handed our consumption data to the big American companies, and the production data we don't have anyway. So what would that vision look like? The first thing, we would start getting youngsters excited about this revolution. We would start to introduce the idea of a completely new way of moving, a complete revolution in how things move. We would start teaching our children in schools about batteries, about electric motors, about how these things combine, about how drones, robots, electric cars are structured, how they will work together. And most important, we have to start building a production network so that we can get access to production data. Now, what would we focus on? We would not give you a laundry list. China has at least a 10-year lead on India in this space. China has been working on batteries, robots, motors, optics for the last 10 years, and we are behind. So what would our president's address say to the youngsters? We will choose critical areas in each one of these technologies, and we will start to build capabilities in those areas. The second thing we would do, we would ensure that our banking system is not captured by 2 or 3 companies that basically do not allow you to build a production system. But our banking system is open, is dynamic, and is accessible to small and medium businesses, and to millions and millions of entrepreneurs who want to take part in this revolution. Our foreign policy would take into account this revolution. When we talk to the United States, we would not send our foreign minister to invite our prime minister to his coronation. We would not send him 3 or 4 times, please invite our prime minister. Because if we had a production system and if we were working on these technologies, the American president would come here and invite the prime minister. So it is important to understand where a...
Please. Without foreign policy. Leader of opposition cannot make such serious, unsubstantiated statements. This is related to the relation between two countries, and he is making an unverified statement about invitation of the Prime Minister of our country. Is matter of our dignity. How can you make such kind of statement? He is leader of opposition, sir. He should be responsible in making such statement.
Sir, LOP is giving us very positive suggestions. Why they are worried, sir? For the country, he is giving...
Leader of opposition has the information from any official source. He must inform the House. If leader of opposition has the information, please inform the House. Okay. Who has told you that foreign ministers visited for the purpose which you have mentioned? You must specify it.
So, I'm sorry that disturbed you, that question. I apologize for disturbing your peace of mind. It's okay. I've apologized. I've apologized for disturbing your peace of mind. I'm sorry.
Apologize for lying to the House. ऐसा नहीं होता है. तो सीरियस होना चाहिए लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को. कम से कम देश के मामले में तो एक हो. देश के मामले में तो एक वॉइस से बोलना चाहिए. ये गलत बात है. ये ठीक नहीं है. लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को इस तरह का बयानबाजी नहीं करना चाहिए. ये गंभीर विषय पर चर्चा चल रही है.
So we would start by telling our young men and women that they have to be at the forefront of this revolution. We cannot afford that the Chinese are at the forefront of this revolution. Number one. Number two, we would ensure that the absolute best experts on these technologies would talk to our students, would talk to our youngsters, and guide them on what a future, on what these future technologies are going to do. We would make them partners in this revolution. Now, we talk about defense. And today, we have the Chinese. And the Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has contradicted the Prime Minister. It's true. The Prime Minister has denied it. The Prime Minister has denied it. And the army has disagreed with the Prime Minister that China is sitting on 4,000 square kilometers of our land, of our territory.
ऐसा इस सदन में अब मन चाहे बात नहीं बोल सकते हैं. ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है सर. ये सीरियस मामला है. आप फॉरेन पॉलिसी पे, बॉर्डर इश्यू पर आप अपना कैसे मजाक बात कर सकते हैं? अपना मन गढ़ंत कहानी आप बना के बोल रहे हैं. ये तो बहुत सीरियस मामला है.
विदेशी प्रतिपक्ष के नेता जो आप विषय बोल रहे हैं, उसके तथ्यों को सदन के पटल पे रखना. आप
पानी
अनुरोध है, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन बोलिए, हम लोग शांति से सुनेंगे. ये आपका अधिकार है बोलने का, मगर आप मन चाहे ऐसा सीरियस इशू पे कैसे बोल सकते हैं? ये सीरियस मामला है. आप सदन में से बोलते हो, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर का बात बोल देते हो, सीमा का बात ऑफिसर नेशनल फॉर्चून से अलग बात करते हैं, ऐसा मत बोलिए। ये देश के लिए ठीक नहीं है। आपको सीरियस होना पड़ेगा लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन। ये गंभीर मामले को आप ऐसा
The Prime Minister has denied that Chinese forces are inside our territory, but for some reason, our army keeps talking to the Chinese about their entry into our territory, and our Chief of Army Staff has said that the Chinese are inside our territory. This is a fact. This is not invention. This is a fact.